to this tournament, I didn't even know it was European Junior Championships. And at that time, Hornsby had 8 of the top players in the ranking list, all local from Middlesbrough now. You tell people you've been at 10 down street, you think outside, but inside, yeah, it was unbelievable. Table tennis was my life completely. I mean, I didn't know anything else but, so let's just carry on playing. And after that, started coaching, and I love table tennis.
Denis, welcome.
Thank you very much.
We're at the National Championships, and you've won this event 6 times. We'll come on to that, but we've got quite a lot to cover. So, more than 400 England appearances.
Yeah, 495.
European Club Champion with Ormsby.
Yeah, 1972.
European Championships medalist.
Yeah, 2 mixed doubles with Mary Wright.
And of course, in between them, the World Championship bronze in 1969.
69, that's correct, in Munich, yeah.
So quite a lot to cover, but let's go back to the beginning. So what were your first steps? What got you started in table tennis?
Well, I started playing at 13 at a boys' club called Newport Boys Club, and after about 3 months, a lad called Alan Ransom, who owns T-Sport now, came to the club, tracksuit and everything, and I beat him, and he said, "Why don't you come to my house?" So I went to his house, and he had a table tennis table and a chicken hutch. We had an unbelievable house, something I'd never seen before, and that gave me the incentive to think, well, I come from a family where there was 8 of us in a 2-bedroom council house, so it gave me a lot of incentive to better myself.
Yeah. So you had 24/7 access, basically, of any time you wanted to play?
Yeah, 24-hour access, 7 days a week, and I was playing 6 hours a day, minimum, 7 days a week, and then his house was about 3 miles from my house. Then I used to run home 11 o'clock at night, things like that, but I enjoyed it that much.
How old were you at that point?
13.
Okay, so quite a late start, actually.
It was a late start, yeah, but you couldn't join the boys' club till you were 13 then, so there was no way I could play.
Yeah. Was it something you took to straight away? You realised you were skillful, and you had the...
Well, I could play. My father played for England boys at football, so he was into sport, and I was into all sports. But with table tennis, I tried it, and straight away I felt I could really play. Yeah. So that was it.
So what was the journey from then? When did you start entering competitions? When did you realise I'm quite good at this? I could go a long way.
Well, I started playing competitions when I was 15, but in the tournaments then, when you went to a tournament, there was a men's singles, a men's doubles, but there was also a junior singles. So playing the junior singles, you also played in the men's singles, and because of that, you knew where you stood. So it was a fantastic experience. I think now, because they don't have that, I think that's what it lacks the juniors. They have to know where they are in the seniors as well, rather than just at a junior level.
Kind of toughens you up to play the seasoned players as well as your own age group.
Exactly, yeah.
So, what age did you start getting international attention? When did the England selectors look at you and you start playing abroad, that kind of thing? Well,
I played for England juniors when I was 16. I went to this tournament, this is a true story, and I got to the quarter-finals, and then years later, in 2006, when I was a junior captain of the Europeans, and it said the 48th European Championships. I said, went to the referee and said, how can it be the 48th? I haven't played in this. Next day he came back and he said, you got to the quarter-finals. So I went to this tournament, I didn't even know it was European Junior Championships.
Where was it?
I think it was in Sweden. I lost to Johansson, and because the juniors at that time, it wasn't the seniors was the important thing, not the juniors.
Tell us about your England senior debut. Do you remember when that was, who against?
Yeah, I've got a good memory. It was we used to have the 4 nations, England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales, and it was in Dublin. And there was me, Bobby Stevens and Chester Barnes, and we won every match, so we actually won it. I'm not sure if they have it now, the 4 nations, but that was a popular thing at the time.
And you went on to play 495, I think you said, times?
I did. I played 495 times all over the world. Table tennis was my life completely. You know what I mean? I didn't know anything else but, so just carry on playing. And after that, I started coaching. And I love table tennis.
So what years were you active? So what was the year of your England debut and what was the year of your last?
I was active from 1963 until 1977 when I packed in after the World Championships in Birmingham in 1977.
But you did win the first national title in '66.
I did, yeah.
And Chester Barnes, I think, was the match that people probably would remember from that time. He'd won the previous three.
Previously, Chester, I
played him in the semis.
Played him in semi-final, won in 5. I was 2-1 down and won in the 5th. And then in the final, I played a lad called Stuart Gibbs, who finished up being 3 in England. But when I played him, with it being a final, I was very nervous. But Stuart was 10 times more nervous than me. So at the end, I really enjoyed it because he was just missing everything.
What was the feeling like to get that first national title?
Oh, it was fantastic. I couldn't believe it. It was a dream. At that time, it was just a dream.
But did you automatically want more? Was that...
Well, after you win it once, obviously, then you try to get more, yeah.
Well, some players are happy when they've won one, but you were always someone who was always looking to...
I was still young, so I had a long way to go.
Yeah. You said you were 2-1 down to Chester. Did you change something at that point to get back into that and go on to win?
Well, in them days, at 2-1 you were allowed a 5-minute break. So then it gives you a chance to get going again and think about it and all that. Whereas now it's straight on. But I didn't think I could beat them because Chester at that time was virtually unbeatable. So it was fantastic. It gave me the confidence then for the matches.
Yeah. And there were 5 more men's singles titles. Were you happy for Paul Drinkle to go past you and win that 7th last year? Or
Not really, because he's from Ormsby. And I predicted it. You know what I mean? Someone was going to beat it eventually, you know what I mean? Yeah. But no, I mean...
But he's still got a way to go to get up to Des, of course.
I packed him when I was 33. Where Paul's still playing at 35.
Yeah. The other titles, you beat Ian Harrison, you beat Chester in finals a couple of times, Nicky Jarvis, Des Douglas. Which one would you say gave you the most pleasure? Which one was the biggest achievement?
Beating Des, because at that time Des was ranked very high in Europe, and it was in '77, and I beat him in the nationals, and it was the World Championships, and I thought that was a good way to go out after the World Championships. I was still number 2 in England. I could have, you know, I mean, now they're carrying a lot longer, but that time I just thought good way to go out. So that's what happened.
7 men's doubles titles as well. Alan Hydes, Trevor Taylor and Des as your partners.
Yeah.
And 5 mixed with Carenza Matthews and Mary Wright. And I want to talk about particularly Carenza and Mary because you played at a very high level with both of them. And I think a near miss with Carenza, got to the quarterfinals of the Worlds in '67.
But with Mary was a world class player.
Well, I was going to ask what motivated the change of partner after you got to the World quarterfinals from Carenza to Mary?
Mary used to play with her husband Brian Wright, who was English international, and then we went to a tournament. Carenza wasn't there, and I played with Mary, and I think we won it. I think with Mary I won maybe a dozen international tournaments. And then we got the semi-final of the European, so we just carried on playing then.
What made you as such a good pair together?
Well, she could spin the ball, and just that's what doubles is about. You know, you can have a really good player with another really good player, but in doubles it's about combining together, and that's what we did.
And you had great success, as we've said, 2 European bronzes. So let's go back to the first one of those. That was in Lyon in '68.
Yeah, and then Lyon in '68, and in 1970 in Moscow. That's when she retired. Yeah. After the Europeans in Moscow, Mary retired.
Brings us on to the world bronze. So sandwiched in between the 2 Europeans, the world bronze. And I was looking at your run. Finish to a couple in the first round, Austrian couple in the second. No great trouble with those 2. But then it was Japan all the way, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So what do you remember about the third round, the quarter-final, the semi-final?
Well, they were all very similar. They were all like world champions, you know, men and the women. So they were all tough matches. But we won the quarters. Then the semis, we lost to a better pair. You know what I mean?
And they went on to win the title.
And they went on to win the title, yeah.
And actually, Japan won, I think, 7 mixed in a row. Oh. That was the 7th, so they were dominant. What you obviously realised that before the tournament. Did you have a particular plan for how you played the Japanese?
No, because we played a lot in a lot of international tournaments. So we just, by that time, we knew exactly how we were going to play, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was very interesting. I think in doubles, I say it's the best combination what played together, not always the best two players, but yeah, I'd say Mary was a great player.
So at the time, winning a World Championship bronze, I mean, how big a deal was that for you? I mean, it must have been an amazing achievement.
Oh, fantastic. You know, to get a world medal at anything, I think is a fantastic achievement. Yeah, it was just absolutely over the moon about it, yeah. It's what you dream about again, you know what I mean?
Singles wise, I think last 16 in 73.
Yeah, I lost it to Sakian, Russian guy who had beaten 3 times previous to that, but I just one of them things. Every match was hard, and I'd beaten Asagawa, who was world champion in '67 in the last 32. So, and all the players after that. In the quarterfinals, it would have been Serbek, who had beaten many times. In the semi-final, it was Johansson, who had beaten many times. And in the final, it was Cien Ting, who had beaten 4 months previously in the Scandinavian Open. So, dreaming, you think, well, you know, I've beaten them all before, but I think it's, you know, last 16 takes some doing.
Is there a regret at all about that, or is it just?
No, I just thought afterwards, you know, but
And yeah, we didn't
give
mention.
it my best shot.
Yeah, we didn't mention Sekretan Bengtsson as well, who were around at that time.
Oh yeah,
Chinese starting to dominate.
There, yeah.
So, I mean, how hard was it to go to a World Championships in that era?
Well, at that time, when I first went to the World Championships, there was no limit to Chinese. Most tournaments there was no limit, so they could have 20, then they cut it down where they could only have 5. But all the tournaments you went to, and the Chinese were there, they used to come with 20 or 30 players, you know what I mean? Yeah. It was farcical, really, but you get the last 16 in the Worlds, and you have like 15 Chinese and Scholler from Germany. But now it's obviously changed. Well, the thing I regret the most is not playing in the Olympics, but at that time, table tennis wasn't in because they said it was a professional sport. Even though in the basketball you had Michael Jordan playing for America, athletics you had Seb Coe and all that, but for some reason they said table tennis was a professional sport and the Olympics was supposed to be amateur sport.
Yeah, it took until '88 obviously for it to be introduced, but yeah. What do you think the players can expect in London in 26? I mean, you know, the likes of Paul and Liam are going to be playing in front of their home crowd. How will it help them?
It'll be fantastic for them, yeah, because obviously you've got everybody in 1 year to win and things like that, so it makes a massive difference.
We promised to talk about Ormsby becoming European club champions in '72. So just explain why that's such a huge achievement in British sport.
Because no one's ever got anywhere near since, and that was in 1972. So you're talking about over 50 years, and no one's been anywhere near that. So it was. I'd say it was the best achievement I've ever done. I got more satisfaction from that than anything else.
A great team. It was Nicky and Trevor Taylor.
And Trevor Taylor, 1, 2, 3 in England, playing for the Ormsby team. And at that time, Ormsby had 8 of the top players in the ranking list, all local from Middlesbrough now. You know, we weren't foreigners coming in, anything like that. They were all locals, which makes it even a better achievement.
And the quality of training, obviously, from having that cluster of players as well.
Exactly, that's what you need, yeah. Every time you went for practice, it was fantastic practice, yeah.
You beat Falkenberg, complete with world champion in the final.
Yeah, Stellan Benson, yeah. In the 4 and 5 in Sweden, yeah. We beat them 6-3 There's 2 legs then. We've been 6-3 in Sweden. Benson won 3, and then in the second leg, second match on, Trevor Taylor beat Benson. So when we got to 5, that was it. And that gave me, well, say it's never been. No one's ever been anywhere near since 1972.
A couple of other things I just want to ask you about. 2 photographs which are, I guess, in the annals of English table tennis history. There was one with the Prime Minister in 10 Downing Street. I think you're in that with Nicky and Chester, Tony Clayton, Carenza, John Parker. What was that about?
Well, the Chinese came over for the tour, and they arranged for the Chinese and the English to go there. Just unbelievable. You tell people we've been in 10 Downing Street, you think outside, but inside, yeah, it was unbelievable.
What would that 13-year-old boy who first started, if you'd said to him, you'll win a world medal, you'll go inside Downing Street?
Well, then you wake up. It'd be a dream, you know what I mean? Yeah, it was a fantastic thing, yeah.
And the other photo is quite an iconic one of you, 10 metres up on a high board at the Crystal Palace pool. Yeah,
England used to have all the training camps at that time at Crystal Palace, and I jumped off that board hundreds of times during training. And so when I said if I lost to Chester, I would jump off the high board. Well, I did lose to him, and the thing was, it got a lot of publicity, and there was lots of people there, and the press were there, and I was giving it, this. I just jumped off it, and everybody applauded. But I said I'd already done it about 100 times before.
But nobody else knew that.
Nobody else knew that, no.
You're a good swimmer, obviously.
Well, yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah. You've gone on to obviously have a good coaching career. What are your qualities as a coach?
Well, what I see about someone, if they're going to be good or not, is that if they really want it. And I say if they really want it, it means they want to just play and play and play. No excuses. You have to put the hours in to be I think it's the same with any sport. You have to put the hours in. So if they haven't got that incentive to making excuses, I can't come because I've got this, that, you need the ones who really want it, and they're the ones what come through. If you haven't got that, then straight away you can only get to a certain level.
Which players have you looked at as a coach and you've known straight away?
Paul, Coach Paul. I've got coached a lot of players which played for England, and they all have that same attitude. They just want it. They want it.
Internal drive.
And to prove it by putting the work in. I think it's the same with anything. You have to put the work in.
So, final question: of all the successes you've had as a player, as a coach, if you were picking one, so that's the one I'm most proud of.
Winning the European Cup in 1972 with Ormsby. That was the one that would give me the most satisfaction, because that's where it all started, and that's where. Well, it hasn't finished yet because I'm still coaching them, but because it was done by people from the area, not by getting foreign players in, which was made it much. And when they had the anniversary a few years ago, I was saying a speech and I started crying. Then Nicky came on about half an hour later, and he just burst into tears as well. So for him it was fantastic, his biggest achievement as well. So there we go.
You're still, I can see you thinking back now. You're
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes you go to bed and you think about it and all. And, I've done well for myself. I mean, I've gone from 0 to, having a good standard 11, which is, but the most important thing is, I love table tennis.
Hopefully a few more years in you yet, Dennis. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Paul.